World's Top 10's presents 10 fascinating facts about Christopher Columbus. Number 10 is, did he care if the Earth was flat? Do you remember being in elementary school and your teacher telling you that Columbus was out to prove the Earth wasn't flat? We do. For many schools around the United States, teachers used the flat Earth theory to engage students about the heroic expeditions of Columbus. However, the idea that Columbus was out to prove the Earth was round is just a myth. Number 9 is, he struggled finding funding for his voyage. The more one learns about Christopher Columbus, the more his presence in the annals of history seems like a massive insult to the great explorers and thinkers of earlier periods. However, he was persistent. Columbus lobbied European monarchs and was denied, lobbied, and was denied. Number 8 is, he wrecked his ship. The Santa Maria was the largest of the 3 ships that embarked on Columbus's voyage to Asia, and even then, records show that the Santa Maria was not a particularly large ship. Comparable today to a cruising yacht, the Santa Maria was only about 100 tons with a single deck and 3 small masts. Crossing the Atlantic Ocean proved fine for Columbus and his men, but the return journey was where tragedy struck. Number 7 is, he returned to Spain in shackles. Unfazed by the destruction of his former crew members' settlement, Columbus decided to rebuild the settlement in a different location, promising riches to crown and crew member alike. Columbus and his brothers would rule the new settlement with savage cruelty. Number 6 is, an eclipse was his savior. If finding uncharted territory by accident wasn't enough for you, Columbus would be the beneficiary of even more good fortune while stranded in Jamaica, on his 4th and final journey. Number 5 is, first to discover New World. It seems that our Genos explorer has gotten more credit than he is due. Researchers have confirmed that Christopher Columbus was not the first man to lead a voyage to the Americas. That distinction goes to a Viking, by the name of Leif Erikson. Number 4 is, his adventures after death. Although we have questioned his mental acumen, what cannot be questioned is Columbus's adventurousness in his pursuits and explorations. Those qualities would seem to continue into death, as the deceased bodies of Columbus and his son, Diego, were shipped across the Atlantic to Hispaniola, on the request of his daughter-in-law. They were to be interred in a Santo Domingo Cathedral. Number 3 is, Columbus was a slave trader. Only a few hundred were left. That's all that remained of the Taino population 60 years after first contact with Columbus. Conservative estimates hold that more than 250,000 inhabited the Dominican Republic before his arrival. It's a startling figure to consider when contemplating the impact of Columbus on the native populations of the New World. Number 2 is, Columbus was very religious. Despite his cruel and inhumane acts, Columbus was a fervent Christian. He believed that his voyages were God's will, and consequently he would go on to name many of the lands he discovered biblical names. Number 1 is, Columbus brought syphilis to the New World. Recent reports have come to suggest that Columbus had an even greater impact on world history than we've given him credit for. According to skeletal evidence, Columbus and his crew not only introduced the Old World to the New World, but to syphilis as well. It appears that, like Vegas, what happens in the New World will stay in the New World. Except for venereal disease.